Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. If y'all can't hear me, let me know. I think you guys can hear me. My bad, my apologies. I forgot to make a thumbnail until just now. So I came in here about 5 minutes late, but still, I normally try to have my thumbnails up way before time. And as you guys can see, I said, oh wow, looky. We got Benavidez versus Andrade in the near future. And to me, that's going to be a good one right there. So I'm going to talk about that and other stuff. Probably address some things or what have you. But y'all know what time it is first. Before we get into that, let's turn to welcome back. uh, I like my new intro. I haven't figured out how to spread it across the page. But y'all know what we do at the top of my hour. We do a water check. Today I'm on point. Let me tell y'all. I'm always trying to find different ways to make myself drink all the water that I need to drink per day. And when I get on something, I'll be like, I'm going to share because, if it works on me, I'm telling you guys, I could be a good gauge of what could work for anybody. Because I am so particular about any and everything, especially when it comes down to anything that I'm consuming and how I'm consuming. And of course, it's more fun for me to drink sodas or tea. I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm not a liquor drinker. But it would be more fun for me to drink those things. And I know that I need to drink water. So what I did is I went out, and I guess it got to come to you. I bought this large jug. It has this middle piece to screw inside of the top, where you can put it in the freezer and it freeze, so it could probably keep your liquids cool or whatever. I go buy the Sonic bag of ice. Yes, Sonic sells ice for like $3.25, I believe, a bag of ice. They're the little balls, the little ones you can crush on. Because most people who like ice, one or two things, 9 times out of 10, they could be anemic. I just have my blood drawn, y'all. I'm not anemic, but I ain't got the best of numbers. Let me just say it like that. But I'm not anemic like I used to be. My numbers are not the normal range and above. It's like right under like if the normal range is 12, I probably got 11. So I'm not in no kind of danger, nothing like I used to be. I used to have a number of 2, like hemoglobin be 2. They were like, how your shit dropped that low? I was like, I don't know. I think it's a family thing. All the girls in my family are anemic. But anyway, if you're anemic, you'll eat a lot of ice. Ice ain't nothing but water, right? And that was my meal, my ice. And all the thing I can tell you is why I ate them is because I felt like my insides were hot. Even when I was young, I'm 21, 22, I always felt like my insides were hot. And the ice would, sucking on the ice and crunching on it cooled it down. But crunching on ice is not good for your back teeth. And as you get older, you need to worry about stuff like that. So that's why I get the little small balls of ice from Sonic. So I come home, I got these big Ziploc freeze bags. I transfer some ice into these bags because that's the only thing that can fit into my little mini fridge. And then I fill my little jug up with the ice water. And I mean, it's first thing in the morning when I get up, this is what I'm doing. I'm sipping on water all day. And that stuff stay cool. The ice stay in there, I be hoping that I could get it down to the point where I could crush on the ice and drink water at the same time. I never do make it, but that's my little game I play. But I get down to the corners of that jug. So I said, damn, I ain't even looked to see, when I bought it, how much water it holds. So I'm like, it gotta have a tag on it. So I'm looking, I ain't see no tag. And my container had been sweating, so it had water everywhere. And I was like, damn, if the tag is on the bottom, then it's gonna be degraded because all this water. So I pulled it up and I couldn't see it. It was degraded. But when I did video, when I hit the video thing on my phone, shit came out clear. So that whole jug is 100 ounces of water is what I'm getting at. And here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate that everybody at least try to make 100 ounces of water per day. Some days you make it, some days you don't. A lot of days I'll be at 96, 93 or whatever. Some days I'll be 102, whatever. But you shoot for 100 ounces, right? We know the formula is half your body weight in ounces of water is what you should drink. There is a such thing as drinking too much water. Like my little sister, she drinks a lot of water. Like she probably close to almost 2 gallons of water a day. I told her, I said, man, if it ain't hurting you, cool. But you don't need to drink all that. And she be wondering why she's so small. Like, you drinking a lot of water. And yes, if you drink a lot of water, one of them side effects is you're going to drop a lot of weight if you drink a lot of water. It just is what it is. But water is not fun to drink. I get it. I know it. So we say here at Boxing Fans, if you're not a big water drinker, at least twice a day, you should drink some water. That's first thing in the morning. Have 8 ounces sitting on the table, Chug a lug, chug, drink it up. Learn how to drink your water room temperature, by the way. But me, I like ice cold water, hence my mini fridge, hence my cooler. I will never stop investing in different ways to drink my water in a more quicker way and get it down, because you can be drinking your water and shooting for 100 ounces per day, and you can be on target and everything. And then there be that 1 week you just tired of the shit. You don't feel like doing it. So that's why I got my 3 different types of ways to trick my mind into drinking plenty of water. I still buy 8-ounce bottles of spring water. Still do that. Keep my fridge stocked with it. But if my fridge ain't got water, guess what? My cooler has. And I stay filling that up. The natural spring that I get my water for my cooler is down the street. Comes straight out the ground. I thank God that I live near something that's not contaminated and it's still the way God intended, and it comes straight out the ground. Like the guy who owned the property so many years ago, like we said, going back to 1800, because they explained what went down with this this water reservoir. Said the guy said, no matter who he leave his land to or bequeath his land to, he want that the water spout to be open to the public at all times. So whoever take possession of that land, that's something that they can't do. They can't do nothing about that. So what they did was it's on the side of the road. They build like a hut over top of where the water is coming out the ground and put some PVC pipes some kind of way, and the water comes through the PVC pipe, and it just constantly dropping down. It's like a little creek underneath, whatever. So, you see a lot of people pull up and they got big tanks and they just getting water. It's never ending, free. And it's probably probably the purest water you can get. When I do the strips, it's normally at 7 pH or 6.9. You can't get no more pure than that. So I fill that up, and I put 5-ounce cups up there. So I'm always, all day. Like if I stop by the cooler and get some water, I did it 4 times. 4 times 5. See what I'm saying? I just did about 20 ounces of water in the blink of an eye, because I take that 5-ounce cup and throw it back real easy. One go, done. Fill it up again, done. Imagine if you do that every hour. All I need is 20 cups of that. 20 of those 5-ounce cups, that is. And I would be at my hundreds. I get to that easy. But this jug, I like it because I ain't constantly going back and forth to get no water. I fill it up once and boom. So, but drink your water. First thing in the morning, when your body get up, think of it as an engine. The water is the lube. It's going to make things move in a timely and efficient manner. And water dilutes things too. So like if you eating stuff that's not good for you or that's too strong for you or whatever, drink your water and help it dilute or whatever. Second time is at night when you get out the shower before you go to bed, before you go to your deep sleep. American Heart Association agrees you should drink your water and, get your body prepared for the amazing work it's going to do while you sleep. You got a lot of reads going on, revamping, rebooting, recharging, redirecting, recreating, a lot of reads and a lot of hard work, so much so that the average human body burns between 900 to 1,000 calories at night in a deep sleep. So you always want to drink your water, stay hydrated. Nobody in 2023 and beyond should have a problem with dehydration. And please, now that we got that out the way, let's get to some light housekeeping. Please hit the like and share and subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. If you've already subscribed, don't touch that dial. You locked in, you good to go. But every time when you come in here, hit the like and share button. Do leave a comment, when you're watching me on replay. A comment, question, statement. I do get back with you. I have back and forth with some of you. Also, leave something in my email at boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. That's boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. Leave a statement, comment, question. I do get back to you there. I come on Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Except if there ain't nothing to talk about or whatever. I try to be here every day. And that lovely Cash App is Boxing Fans Talk TV. That's Boxing Fans Talk TV. It's up there on the picture. So feel free to use that Cash App. For some reason, I'm not monetized yet. I have written to YouTube to see what the problem is. They haven't written back, but oh well. Anyway, the show must go on. But now that we just said all that, we got WJ Luckett is in the building. What's poppin', King? Said salute, Queen T. I'm riding with Boo Boo on this one. Me too, WJ. We lining up. We lining up. Tay is in the building. What's happening, Young King? He said, hey, you must not be in VA no more because the power is out over here. Nah, I'll tell you, I'm from Virginia. I don't live in Virginia. Yeah, but I was up there about a month and I ain't come on. I ain't even do a show for about a whole month. I probably needed the break, but I was trying to escape the pollen down here. So like in the spring, I got to find somewhere to go. I got to find some business because I ain't going to survive in this spring weather around here. Man, that pollen come down so big, it looked like grass on top of your car. Anybody ever seen the pollen that come down in Georgia? I done been around the world and I've never seen pollen like that as much as I do here in Georgia. So when it comes, I be trying to skedaddle. Get ghosts, get the fuck up out of here. Find somewhere to be and find some business. Because I ain't finna be sick, scared to walk outside. That's all it takes is one good breath. And I'm done. And the pollen come down everywhere out there too, but I just never seen it like that here until I got here. Tay said, I hope David and Andre happens. I wish Andre had a fight because I think he would beat David Benavidez. Now, let me tell y'all, this is very interesting. When I saw this, I was like, yay. Plus, it gives us a chance to talk about something else. Oh, don't worry. It's still Crawford era. You know, we gonna talk about my boy every day. But we get something else to chew on. So Dan Raphael is reporting that Benavidez versus Andrade are in order. It's a cry different than his assertions of last year when he said Benavidez versus Morale was going to happen or go down in June. But this one looks to be legit. In fact, Mauricio Suleiman is willing to make an exception or concessions, if you will, to his ironclad rule of Benavidez in the mandatory situation for Canelo. Basically saying he'll push it back to the next year to make this fight with Andrade. Now, y'all already know that they was talking about pushing Benavidez mandatory bout with Canelo back to last year. Now they want to put some legitimacy behind it, you know, trying to act like it's due to this fight with Andrade. Why this is so interesting? Do y'all remember last year? I made a video about it. I thought it was despicable. So you got everybody coming at Canelo. And Canelo is when he phrased the famous payday, you know. And so you got David Benavidez trying to get his shot at Canelo. So they was like, okay, outside, you know, Canelo made that statement, why y'all fight each other? So outside of coming for Canelo, you know, he said fight each other, fight other people. Somebody brought up Andrade to either David's manager or his father, and they said some slick shit. I don't remember the exact words, but I know it got me heated under my collar, like they was belittling him or devaluing him or playing that game. And remember, you know, sometimes you have your breaking points, because in the last 5 years, I've been up and down as far as how I feel when it comes to belittling people and devaluing people. You know, like I always say, the Spence fans have done such, I guess for them, a remarkable job of downplaying Crawford and putting him down and everything. So much so that I can't even bring myself to call anybody a tomato can. I can't do it. And then when I see other fighters picking it up, it's like monkey see, monkey do. I didn't like that shit. So when David's uncle, manager, father, whoever to do this, try to do that shit. I said, nigga, hold on. We gonna stop you in your tracks right now. I wish I could remember what it was about, but I distinctly remember that they tried to say something slick, and it was that old blackballing, like putting a nigga down and shit. Andrade is a good fighter. A lot of people don't like him. They might not like his tactics. But again, I'm telling you, it seemed like a lot of those, not all, but some Texas fighters. Well, I'm gonna be specific. Team Spence and the Charlos went to the same school and trying to develop a clique and put people down and all that. Because since they've been doing it, they are the ones who put that or injected that shit into boxing as we know it today. Before them, nobody talked like that. Nobody put people down like on the level that they do. I mean, I understand the come back and forth that these fighters can have, the combative back and forth, the tongue wrestling that they can do or whatever. But on the level that what we experience these days, it was never like that. Then you start seeing, it's kind of like when that guy said, oh, black people don't sell. What? Nigga, what? Nigga, who? You gotta say that. Like, what is you talking about? Black people don't sell. The biggest seller of boxing that you all know, that we know, that I know, is a black man. But that guy said it straight up and down with a straight face. He used to be, I believe he used to be Triple G's manager. I can't never remember his wrinkled lip ass name. You know, I can't remember it, but he said that shit with a straight face. He said it with conviction, as if it was an actual fact. But how do you square that when Floyd Mayweather is your biggest seller in boxing? When it was the Floyd era is when he said it. So I'm like, okay, that's bullshit. Everybody black was like, that's bullshit. Or when black fighters would meet up, you hear the, well, we can't pay you that much. I mean, it just makes sense. You know, everybody want to say, look, little lady, it's, you know, it's a business team. It just makes sense. You can't do this, you can't do that. They're not going to throw away money and blah, blah, blah. Y'all know the back and forth I used to have with Jerry. And I used to be like, hey, they will do what they want to. They have shown that they will throw money away, bite their nose off to spite their face. Everything. When they want something. Not only do black fighters sell, you know what I'm saying? We ain't the only motherfuckers that's stealing. You know what I'm saying? That's when they were talking about putting black fights together, and they said, oh, you know, the person we don't want to give them that much money or pay them that much. And you'd be like, well, why are you not going to pay them that much? Well, they just going to steal the fight anyway. If that was some racist shit to say, I know, my white brothers and sisters out there, y'all probably say, how you going to say that, Miss T? That's not racist. It is. If stealing goes on regardless, white people steal, black people steal, Latino people steal, Asian people stealing. If people are stealing the fights, they're stealing the fights. It doesn't matter who you put the fight on with somebody. With Canelo, whenever he's going to fight, nobody stops to say, oh, we can't pay you the $50 million, Canelo. We can't pay you between 30-something and 50 million. Because, you know, the fans, they just going to steal it. Nobody does that. But last year, now that we got the Spencer Crawford fight has already taken place and they got a healthy salary. But last year, they weren't going to get shit. And you know what part of the reason? We can't afford it. We don't got no money. Y'all just gonna steal it anyway. Who the fuck is y'all? If we gonna steal Spence and Crawford, we gonna steal Canelo shit too. I mean, that's just what it is. But that's what they say. Now, what does that have to do with Andre and Boo Boo? I mean, not Andre, it is Boo Boo. Andrade and Benavidez. A lot, because Benavidez's father or his manager tried to use those talking points. I think about stealing, why he can't get paid, and I mean, just disrespectful. And I'm looking at Benavidez team members saying this, and like, well, who the fuck is he? Isn't he the guy who lost his belt because of his fat ass, or isn't he the guy who lost because of drugs? So how you gonna stand on your high horse and disrespect this man like that? I didn't like that shit at all. And I was like, they'll never fight because Benavidez don't put no value in Andre. And to bring the Charlos and Spitz, when I was talking about that, into it, who devalued Andre first? The Charlos. I don't know what school they went to learn all this shit, them and Errol Spence, but they good at this propaganda shit. So Benavidez and his team members or whatever, you have to blame the fighter too, because you get to pick who speaks for you. But dude was out there with the fresh mouth talking about why he don't deserve pay and he ain't good enough. Like, basically devaluing Andre. So when I look online today and see, like, boom, their fights are in the works and it's going to happen, I got real excited. Y'all, by the way, I'm going to apologize for if I say I'm monotone at times. I had a migraine before we even started this thing, and I took a melatonin. Like, melatonin, I would never advise anybody to take melatonin on the regular, because you throw your body balance off. Your body makes melatonin, and if your body can register that some kind of way you're getting melatonin, it'll stop making it, and you throw your body off of being balanced. And just remember, a balance anywhere is an imbalance anywhere. It's an imbalance everywhere when you talk about your body. And your body is a balancing act, so you don't want to do that. So all these people that take melatonin every night, crazy. Stop that shit. Awaken your senses. Don't shut your shit down, or it'll be shut down permanently and you're going to have to take it to live. So, but anyway, every now and then I got a bottle of melatonin. So I had a migraine, and I take them when I get migraines, and it works. It gets rid of a migraine. I don't know. You know, once you reach mid-30s, you be having insomnia and shit, and it ain't no medical reason all the time why that happens, more so than it is you thinking too much. See, when you like Tay's age, you ain't worried about a lot of shit. Life is simple. It's easy peasy. You know, you can work things out mentally. But when you get older and you realize the weight of the world, how it's on your shoulders, or what you're trying to accomplish and whatever, even if it's just parenting, which is the hardest job in the world, that's when people start getting insomnia. It comes from overthinking. That's my opinion. I ain't no doctor, but most people get insomnia in their mid-30s. And what happens in your mid-30s? You think too goddamn much. Fact. Dan Tan is in the building. What's poppin', King? Tay said, I hope David versus Andre happens. I wish Andre had a fight, because I think he would beat David. Oh, I think I read that. Andre is a good fighter. And I hope he makes the Benavidez team eat those words that they said last year. I hope he didn't forget. And y'all know that Boo Boo is Boxing Fans Talk TV. Boo Boo. That's my Boo Boo. Lord have mercy. Boo 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 and Andre. Let me get it together. Let me get it together. You know, so when I saw that they gonna fight, I said, how sweet of Mauricio. I can sure hear David saying, "What a swell guy." Oh, David, we gonna put your shit off to next year with Canelo, even though you're the mandatory. Go ahead and fight, Boo Boo. This is why we pushing you back. Even though I told y'all before they even announced or even said that they was working on this fight, they had already said that they was pushing David back a year as far as his mandatory with Canelo. So Mauricio ain't slick. Anywho, no matter the circumstances, this right here is an awesome fight. You got two undefeated fighters, two awkward undefeated fighters at that. Because, I mean, you can't mimic Boo Boo style. You can't even teach nobody to emulate him. He's a good fighter, though. And for what they say, he's crafty. Now, I told y'all when I thought about the Benavidez of the world, they good fighters in the sense that they I'm not going to say they don't know boxing or whatever, but it's their youth. It's their youth. General Big Fish is in the building. Was popping king. But it's the Benavidez youth. It's his youth. The boy, I keep thinking he's older than his brother Jose. But he's not. He barely 25 years old. He's young. He gonna have it like that until he older. Now, my question would be to y'all is, when you look at David Benavidez, let's say he's older, he's 34 or something like that. And like everybody, Father Time waits for no one. When you hit 30, there's a degradation. How much of a degradation is individual? But there is a degradation. So when he gets older and his reflexes ain't what they are, or his instincts or his ability to charge at you, because when he really going ham on you, he squared the fuck up. He's like a square ass waffle. That's how square that nigga is. David Benavidez, I would not call him a complete fighter, but he's good enough. He's good enough while he's young. Now let's see him when he get older and he's in an arduous fight. What he gonna do? When he can't out muscle the person and he can't out hustle the person, what he gonna do? Now Boo Boo might be older than him, but Boo Boo ain't take a lot of punishment. So how's Boo Boo gonna turn out? Boo Boo is another one that they kind of like blackball and put off to the side. Now, Boo Boo, I ain't saying that their personalities isn't something to be hard to acquire. Like Terrence probably, I heard that he wasn't the best media person, or media people won't press to go get an interview with him and all that, and mainly because of how he acted. He could have been real shy. Boo Boo says things and do things that gets on other fighters' nerves. I don't know, but you can't say the motherfucker can't fight. They say, yeah, David is not complete at all. Feet work problems, etc. Exactly, Tay. So you already know who I'm going for. I'm going for my Boo Boo, none other than Boo Boo Andre. Give it up for Boo Boo Andre. I'm going for my Boo Boo, Boo Boo Andre. Like I said, remember those sly remarks. And Boo Boo, if you listening, make them eat them words, because they tried you. They tried you. And like I said, that whole way of being it comes from them. Now I'm gonna say something about Jermell Charlo, then I'm gonna drop this link. I didn't have a lot to say today, but I'm gonna drop this link. Jermell Charlo, from my understanding, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, is no longer the undisputed champion. somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Drop this link. And I'm going to tell y'all why I said, but I'd rather for, because if I go on and say it, I'm just hating against Texans. So I'd rather, because, look, I got it from a dude from Texas. One of my friends. Actually, one of my other friends sent it to me. And then somebody I know that live in Texas sent me the same shit. So, is it true? Did the WBO go ahead and stripped Jamel Charlo already? What I'm hearing, they did. So is he undisputed at this moment? Once a champion, always a champion. What's up, Tay?
Hey, salute, Miss T, salute.
I see you got your fish fried going on.
Yeah, my fish fry.
You still cooking fish? You still
I
making
actually
some fish?
had some fish a couple nights ago. Fill me up.
I hear you. I don't even like fish.
Oh, I love seafood. How are you from here and not like seafood? I love seafood.
Because it makes me sick. It be making
me
sick.
Well, that makes sense.
So what you got on it? Like the little bit that I've said, there's a lot of little interesting things out. Go ahead.
I think it would be a great fight. And yeah, they was trying to box him out. But I think some of it is Boo Boo's fault. Sometimes you just should have took fights, even if they aren't the best money wise, just to stay active and do whatever in the game. But yeah, I do think they try to. It's the same thing. He ain't fought nobody. He sucks. How good we know he is because he ain't fought nobody. But I mean, sometimes you could tell how skilled these guys are, man. And that's kind of a shame because I think Boo Boo was a really skilled fighter. He was super awkward, and he's very fundamentally sound. And I feel like if he was more active, he'd probably beat David Benavidez. I don't think David Benavidez is as good as people think. I mean, he was getting outboxed by Caleb Plant, and he couldn't stop Caleb Plant.
He relies on his power.
Yeah.
And while we give people like Deontay Wilder and others a hard time for just relying on that power, Benavidez, a lot of people do. Once they know that they got power like that, it takes a strong mind to not rely on your power. Like I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give my boy Bud the credit. Bud knows he got power in both hands, but he don't rely on it. He still boxing.
Plus, I mean, David Benavidez. When's the last time he fought a southpaw? It was like so long ago. And the southpaw that he fought, I remember I was watching tape about it. The southpaw that he fought wasn't even that good, and he was getting caught with stuff. With him being off balance and things like that, cross walking, cross stepping. I didn't finish watching it, but he was making a lot of mistakes fundamentally. Wasn't really getting the way out of punches, man. So I think a lot of these times when these guys aren't fighting southpaw, man, they get really susceptible and they get really vulnerable because it's just different. I mean, look at Devin Haney. He's not good against southpaws.
I think David Benavidez claimed the fame is his power and how big he is. He's towering over people. He's wide too. He's wide.
And his fast hands. He has very fast hands.
Yeah, he actually got a boxing body, and that's to say, the bodies or physique, if you had to pick them, who do well in boxing would be those swimming looking bodies. Like the Randy Figueroa's and David Benavidez, and they actually have those boxing bodies, even though they look awkward. Like Brandon and Omar, they had these long arms. They in close, and they can do a lot with their long arms. But they actually had a boxing body. It's not about the short, compact muscles. Like most black fighters would have. It's more so the elongated muscles that's supposed to do you well in something in a sport like boxing. But David has that in droves. He's young you forget that he's like 24, 25. For some reason, when you look at the nigga, man, I be thinking 28, 30 or whatever.
Yeah, he's been fighting for a while. He hasn't, like, he's kind of stayed stagnant, kind of.
And he don't take no punishment. So if you not really, I mean, this last couple of fights, he had some people touch him up, but overall, he's not hurt.
Yeah, I guess he's not fighting no one that's on his level.
Yeah, Caleb Plant, he couldn't get in, but Caleb Plant must have had something that made him respect the distance. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, Caleb Plant has better footwork than him. Caleb Plant's he's a solid boxer.
Speaking of which, did you see Caleb Plant's response to the Night of Bud fight when he smacked Charlo?
Nah, please play that. I didn't see it.
Well, I don't want to get into playing people shitting them up. I think a lot of people trying to be different in like how we show things. Some people get mad. Like, you know, sometimes you take a chance and you say for educational purposes. But I promise you guys, it's Fight Hype or Fight Hub. I think it's Fight Hype. Go there and you'll see Caleb Plant. Like, and I think, well, you know, to be honest, let me see if I can pull it up, because I think Fight Hype got it from Caleb Plant's own loading of his thing. And if he loaded it up, let me see. See, I'm bringing it up, y'all. I'm just trying to look for it. Nope. No, I don't see it. Maybe I should have did it a different way. I'm just saying that they got. Oh, there it is. There it is. So y'all see it? Here you go. For educational purposes only. Educational purposes
only. Your wife got smacked. No, my wife didn't get smacked. Nobody touched my wife.
See?
No. I mean, it was just me and old buddy. I mean, a man's got a right to, you know, defend himself.
This for educational purposes only.
Man in his face.
See?
Pulling on his beard real hard. And, you know, I got the decency to tell you not to do that again. I don't spaz on you right there. I got enough decency to tell you not to do that again. And, you know, the only thing you can reply with is how I'm a bitch-ass white boy. And look at him, y'all, getting shook just like a bitch-ass white boy would. And look at him, y'all, just like a white boy would, acting like a bitch. And then, you know, you immediately grab my face again even harder.
Violation.
After I just asked you not to do that no more. I got my wife standing right behind me and I'm in a room full of my peers. I mean, what do? You know, you making it real hard on a guy. You really putting his back on the wall. You start doing all that shit in front of you know, in front of my wife and everybody in the room.
I.e. challenging his manhood.
I asked you to quit fucking with me.
Can't be mad at Caleb.
And yeah, there's a lot of Texas boys in the room, but it's like, shit, I'd rather get some ball 40 of y'all, 50 of y'all than have to go home and look myself in the mirror. I done told you to quit fucking with me. It wasn't them two fighting and me getting in between it or nothing like that. That ain't none of my business. I don't care. Two grown men want to fight. That's on them. It didn't have nothing to do with any of that. And he didn't mention my daughter or anything like that. It didn't have nothing to do with none of that. He kept touching me in my face. And I told him knock that shit off. But he wasn't listening.
So y'all hear, that's all I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
So y'all hear that?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I mean, was he right? Was he right, Tay?
Yeah. He gotta defend himself.
I mean, would you allow another man come pull on your chin hairs?
No.
I think that was a violation for Charlo to do, and then run it back. So now y'all see what happened, or hear from the horse's mouth what happened, because I've heard he was trying to break up the girls fighting, or he was trying to break up Charlo, and it won't none of that. He just told y'all what it was.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at him.
Hey, Miss T. Mm-hmm. Man, these casuals. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to throw that because I just saw that today. But Jermell Charlo. So in the epilogue, let me ask you about this, Tay.
Mm-hmm.
So when Crawford knocked Spence out, in the second, when he knocked him down the first time, and he went over to the side and he was talking shit to Charlo, and so somebody got a video. I can't remember who. My bad for not writing it down as to who. But somebody got a video out saying how he was talking to Charlo, but the way he was leaning over the ropes, I guess a guy named James Harden, the basketball player or something.
Yeah, James Harden. It was James Harden.
Yeah, he didn't know who he was talking to, but they showed how he finally figured it out that he was talking to Charlo, and he looked at him. Because remember in the epilogue, we see Charlo, with his head cocked to the side, how he talked his shit. But he was talking to James Harden, looking crazy. Not. Let me back it up. I can say crazy, but crazy in the sense that why are you even making that face? Why are you looking like that? Not crazy in a bad, negative way. Like you look stupid, but like crazy. Like why are you even going hard like that and talking to James Harden? Like, did he ask you something? I didn't hear James Harden ask him. But man, who he talking about? Is that you? Or what's going on with you? But he had to spit out his position on it, or his little accolades, whatever. I already did that. What the fuck was Charlo talking about? Did you see that part in the epilogue, Tay?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think Charlo was scared. Also, talking about Charlo and Canelo. Hey, man, these casuals are so stupid. I said, so this is like, man, they don't know what I'm talking about. So I said that Charlo's too small for Canelo, right? Because obviously he went up 2 weight classes, he's too small. And then this dude said, everyone said Crawford was too small, and he whooped Spence. Like, that's like the worst comparison ever.
Yeah.
One is in the same weight class, and one is 2 weight classes above them. Like, it's crazy.
Well, Charlo,
I think Charlo will fight, but I think he's cautious or scared of Bud, but I think he'll fight him. I think he got too much pride not to fight him.
Now, I would never be the one to say Charlo can't fight or ain't trying to fight or scared or anything, because that's one thing I like about him. The dude got heart, and you can't train heart. So, but he got droves of it. But sometimes his bravado and his pride is too much. Sometimes he get off centered, and I would say with all these guys and girls, they need to check their balance in their bravado and their ego and all this stuff, because sometimes
my thing is cutting off.
Yeah, can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Take. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Can y'all hear me? Let me write it down in the chat. Can you Yeah. Me.
Calling the wrong thing. Hello?
I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is not too good on my end, but now I can hear you.
Well, come out and come back in.
No, I can hear you now. I can hear you. I mean, everything is down, so and nothing's gonna change.
Oh yeah, you got the storms and stuff.
Yeah,
So like with Charlo never saying that he's scared of Bud. Never said that. Never will say that. Never saying. And even if you think about this Spence fight here at my channel, I've never said that Crawford could 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, beat Spence. There was always that chance. I just felt like he had an 80 to 20% chance to beat him for skills. For skills and skills alone. Now, I looked at Crawford's past opponents and what he did in the ring, and I evaluated him as a better boxer than Earl. It's not Crawford's fault or his fans that the Earl fans devalued him. Because, see, if you tell a lie enough, it becomes the truth. And I think that's why you'll never get nothing logical out of them. Some of them. Not all of them.
Yeah, we know.
But some of them, you will never get nothing logical out of them, because in order for you to get something logical or something that makes sense, they have to get off this stick that Crawford opponents won't shit, that they was nobodies or they was tomato cans. And they never will do that, because that was part of their narrative. So now that Earl lost the way he did, because if you think about it, out of 40 fights that Crawford has had, and Earl being one of them, 39 other opponents did a better job than Earl Spence.
Yeah, that was one of his easiest fights.
He come in last place.
I watched that fight
as far as all of Crawford's opponents.
I watched that fight though. He did have Earl Spence had like, I don't even want to say moments, because he didn't really have any moments, but he had like moments and spots. He wasn't like just like terrible all the time, but he was getting hit with so many powerful shots that you just have to say that this was his easiest opponent. Because I mean, landing 50% of your punches is insane, and Crawford has never done that.
He did, and everybody's like, Crawford's never done until now. Nobody ever does anything until now. Nobody easily watched Canelo until Floyd did it. A little guy. You know what I'm saying? So some of these, like you said, these reasonings or whatever, when you talk about Charlo, you got to throw Earl in there the conversation too, because that whole camp is one and the same. They believe on the same level, but I think Charlo be kind of delusional more than Earl. Because what did Charlo say in the epilogue? I did that shit. I already did it.
Yeah, like Bud ain't become
right now. This is second time.
Yeah.
What was the point you was making to James Harden? I wonder, because just like you already did it. If I could put my words on it or my stank on it, he was like, nigga, I already did that shit. Fuck he talking about. One, you at Bud's fight. Yeah, you at Spence fight too, but you at Bud's fight too. Two, Bud is already. Y'all just now catching up. Well, your boy didn't catch up, but you just now catching up with your undisputed, and it took you 2 times to do it. And then on top of that, you going up there to fight Canelo. Now, I got Canelo beating Charlo only because, not that Charlo is not a good fighter, and I think that he might be, I don't know, a better boxer than Canelo.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I'm going to ask you a question, Miss T. What does he do better besides his footwork? I think Charlo's better footwork, but what does he do better besides footwork?
But I've seen Charlo box.
I've seen Canelo box. That's what I'm saying. So, no, I'm asking you, Miss T.
Right.
What does he do better than Canelo? That's my, like...
That's what I'm trying to answer you. I've seen him box, but when he got with Derek Jacobs, remember he used to be with Rodney Shields. And when both of them was with Rodney Shields, they were better boxers, both of them. But when he got with Derrick James, his pendulum switched. He was more of a destroyer, seek and destroy type puncher boxer, whatever. And Canelo, from the waist up, is a great boxer and very tactical.
Yeah.
Some stuff that he picked up from Floyd, that ain't just Canelo naturally coming to that conclusion or whatever the case. That's just something he picked up from his experience with fighting people. I mean, the complete fighters that Canelo have fought, Canelo was always losing. When he was fighting Amir Khan, until he caught Amir Khan, if Amir Khan could take his punch, Amir Khan could have cruised on and beat Canelo. Lara also beat Canelo, and then Floyd beat Canelo. But go ahead.
Also, all those guys have like great lead hands as well. Even like Triple G, that's what gives Canelo problems. A great lead hand. Bivol has a great lead hand. Triple G has a great lead hand. Floyd has a great lead hand. Lara has a great lead hand. And man, I think I just can't see him winning. Plus, Charles' IQ is so bad. Like, Charles' IQ is not good at all. I mean, he has every tool, but it's like the dude won't use it. So it's like, what's the point?
He's Captain Caveman in there.
Yeah.
Beating his chest. Stupid. Captain Caveman. A bunga bunga. He's in there beating his chest and shit. That's what he's doing. And all that bravado and there, that's cool. That's cool. It sounds good. How Caleb Plant said it sounds good, but sometimes it ain't gonna be good. I mean, Tony Harris outboxed him.
Yeah.
And Tony Harris, I think he's a great fighter, but I never accused Tony Harris of having power. No. You know what I'm saying? Never. But he outboxed Charlo. And Charlo was mad because he's an emotional fighter. And that's his downfall. He gets emotional. So if he know how to check his emotion, he does a lot better when he come into the fight, not emotional, just focus on what he's trying to do. But he always breaks out into a fight. Always.
I think that's why he's so much better in rematches when he's more calm. But the first time you fight him, he's just like pure emotion. But when you can
like
get a game plan and when you can get him in a game plan and say you do this, then he'll do it.
After and like Spence, when he calms down and box, he might be alright. Now Spence can box a little too when he calmed down. But what Spence don't do, he don't punch with you. That was his downfall. His legs are spread it out. Charlo legs be like that too. It's certain things that they both do that you have to attribute to what they learning in camp with Derrick, because Derrick is the Lone Star head coach. You know, what Charlo went and got him some different coaches, but Spence didn't. But like when they calm and not emotional, or whatever, it's possible that Errol Spence's nerves got the best of him, but that's not an excuse. You know what I'm saying? If you elite, when you say you're an elite, shit like that, nervousness, being overly emotional, it don't affect you in a fight. But you can see some of the same thing. Like I said, they both, if they don't got the proper stance, I don't know how they gonna win a fight. But it has worked for them.
I think Charles' stance is better than Errol's. I honestly think Charles is a way tougher fight for Bud than Errol is. I'm sorry,
Charlo might have gave Errol all that damage to his head. What you think about that? Because they spar all the time.
Maybe Charlo can hit harder than Spence too. Charlo can actually crack. Like Charlo got a bunch of power, especially at 154.
It seemed like that, but Charlo gives Earl respect. So Earl, there's some competition to him or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I think is when Charlo goes up to fight Canelo's going to win.
Yeah.
Because from the waist up, he's a better boxer.
Yeah. I hope
Excuse me.
Andre will run all night. Stop with that running stuff, man. I hate casuals that say people will using lateral movement is running. It's a skill to cut off the ring. It's a skill. That's why even though I love Duran, his performance against Sugar Ray Leonard in the second fight, to me, a guy as skilled as Duran, who's like a very, very good boxer. He's great at everything. For him to not be able to cut off the ring is inexcusable. Cutting off the ring is a skill, and we need to stop having these. And like back in the day, people would actually understand that. Like people back in the day used lateral movement all the time, yet no one called it running until today when we got a bunch of people creating narratives. And it's so annoying. Cut off the damn ring. Not that hard.
That's because that's their favorite fighter. Like when you good when who Boots Ennis for Chimichanga, and I'm sorry I say his name like y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to make fun, but I remember him like that. Karen Chimichanga, whatever. When Boots fought him, he was he had a problem with cutting out the ring. Something he should have never had a problem with. Now you can say the man ran all night. Maybe it was he don't want to get hit, so he's moving. None of y'all want to get hit, so y'all do stuff like slip the punches, or like Tay say, move laterally, or duck, or change the look, or feint. Y'all do all of these skills so you don't get hit. So you got a point there when you're saying it's not running. I don't like when people say it neither, but they always gonna say that because nobody, there was a time when boxing was you draw a line in the middle of the floor and both of them put their foot on the opposite side of the line. It's called a scratch line or whatever, and they put their dukes up and they just phone booth it.
Yeah,
but that's not boxing.
It's not. And we've changed a lot. And even back in the 80s, guys would lose lateral movement, but it was on the fighter to know how to cut off the ring. Duran does not know how to cut off the ring. Go watch that. Okay. Miss T, we're not going to get into this today, but Duran does not know how to cut off the ring. If you go back and watch the fight, the reason why Duran lost was not because he was weight trained. It was because he couldn't properly cut off the ring. Instead of moving laterally with Sugar Ray Leonard, he decided to either lunge, or when Sugar Ray Leonard would throw a punch, he would try to counter it, which let them off balance multiple times. And there was multiple times in that fight where he wouldn't even do that, and he would just go in, rushing in. He did not know how to cut off the ring, and that's why he didn't win that fight. And a bunch of BS was made that he was drained. He was not drained for that fight. If you go back and watch it, you would realize, oh my God, he doesn't know how to cut off the ring, and he couldn't do that. You being weight drained has nothing to do with you not being able to step with someone and just lunging, trying to use your athleticism.
Well, here's the thing too.
What you're talking about, bro. You know what you're talking about, Jerry. He does not know how to cut off the ring, because if he did, he wouldn't have lost to Leonard that way. He wasn't just lunging in.
So I'm gonna tell you this.
People don't watch that. People don't watch these fights, man. They just go off narratives. They don't know what they're looking at. There's no one with a straight face. You can tell me you watched that fight and said that Duran was able to cut off the ring.
So I'm gonna say this, Tay, listen. It's also your responsibility as a boxer in the career that you chose to get ready for the fight. It's nobody's fault that you didn't come in prepared, because you knew you had a fight coming up, but you better than anybody, any of us, know when you gonna fight next or who you want to fight next. So it's incumbent upon you. If I like I said, I've been in that predicament, not as a boxer. Let's keep it a buck. I'm not saying a boxer, but as a military member for 20 years, that twice a year I had to do the PT test. That means I had to do the height, weight, and I had to run the PT test. So what do I do? Do I wait till a few weeks out before I try to get in shape? Or do I just the sooner the better? I know every 6 months, if we did our PT test most of the time, my time in the Navy, it depends on where you are when they throw their PT test together. But most of the time, I've always had them in April and October. So once the PT tests go down in April, it's 6 more months before another one comes. Once October come and you do your test, it's 6 more months before the other one come. You're not surprised. I can't come in there and say, oh, I was weight trained, that's why I couldn't run. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody want to hear it. Because as a grown woman, I know that those tests are coming in April and October.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can either get ready for them and lose the weight starting early, or I can wait till the last minute. And I'm a person with no thyroid gland, so I better not be waiting till the last minute. You know what I'm saying? I better be going months and months and months ahead of time, so I don't be, stuck in no predicament where I'm failing and shit. Because if you fail, there's going to be an adverse reaction. Just like if you weight drain yourself, it's no sense in nobody talking about it. Only to say, that, like sometimes as a person can just really grow out the weight and they kept weight draining. But in the end of the day, it still come back to your level of preparedness and how you want to do it. So you can't never use it as an excuse for sure. Sugar Ray did something strategic with Duran. Sugar Ray was so distraught that he lost that first fight. And he
chose to fight him in that first fight. Make sure that's apparent. He didn't move around like he did in the second fight. He chose to fight him. There was no
regardless of any of that, Tay, he watched Duran party it up and have fun. He convinced Duran, and it's Duran's own fault or his people to do the rematch so soon. That was his own fault. Mm-hmm. That's why when you hear some of us say Earl need to take a rest, y'all don't listen. Y'all Earl fans don't listen. Y'all have in y'all mind, it's hard to convince y'all. Cause see, when y'all was looking at the Spence and Crawford fight, Spence was gonna win 100%. 100%. But Bud fans, we never thought that. We always threw in the caveat, well, anything can happen or whatever, for the most part. I don't think I met a Bud fan or talked to one or seen one in these YouTube streets that thought 100% Bud was going to win. But that's the problem when you think like that. It's called delusions, being delusional. And with Duran and Sugar Ray caught his ass slipping. Oh yeah, go ahead and eat them steaks. Go ahead and fuck all them women. Go ahead and indulge. Enjoy yourself. So while you doing that, not only are we going to have a quick turnaround, but I'm going to be over here working out now, getting ready for our next fight. And Duran didn't do it. It was called lack of preparedness. That's his fault. It's not an excuse, but that is his fault. And lateral movement is allowed. It wouldn't have a name. It would have always been called run. When you run, you eventually gonna turn your back to somebody. Nobody's running in the ring when they laterally moving. You're supposed to know how to laterally move, step to the side, create angles. What's the point of creating angles if you're not allowed to laterally move? Jerry said Duran knew how to cut out the ring before you were born. Go look at the first fight.
You bitch ass nigga, you know what the fuck you looking at, pussy? Like you don't know what he's looking at, bro. Go watch any film study. He did not know how to cut off the ring. Stop lying to yourself. Please stop lying to yourself. If he knew how to cut off the ring, why the fuck wasn't he stepping with Leonard then? Please tell me why, you dumbass motherfucker. Why wasn't he stepping with Leonard? Instead of just trying to counter every time Leonard threw a punch and lunging in. Why the fuck you do that then, dumbass nigga? Jerry don't know what the fuck he be talking about, bro. I see why you get on Jerry's bitch ass. You know what the fuck you looking at. You don't know shit about boxing. That's why he thought Errol Spence would fucking win, you dumbass nigga. That's why you thought Errol Spence would win, dumbass nigga. You can't talk to me, bro. You don't know what the fuck you looking at. It's crazy how you was here before me, my nigga, and you still don't know shit about boxing. That shit's tough, my nigga. That shit tough. I'm gonna link you a film study so you can watch the shit, you idiot. You know what you're talking about, bro. He did not know how to cut off the ring. He literally did not step with Leonard once in that whole entire fight at all. Like, so I'm saying, you guys, he was lunging. How is lunging cutting off the ring? Like, what are we talking about?
To be honest, I have to go back and look at the fight to see.
I'll go say
that wasn't memorable, but I will go look at it. But I know that Duran did not prepare himself for that second fight.
He did not cut off the ring because he didn't know how. I mean, it's not that hard to cut off the ring if you know how.
And when you're not conditioned, you don't do nothing well. Let me read.
Yeah, but my issue is, why lunge then? Why are you lunging in? Because and just waiting to counter instead of moving with him.
He wasn't prepared. That might be something. That might be something that he normally does. Hold on, let me get these chats. Jared said Duran was weight drained, not Leonard's fault. Admittedly, Ray has said several times he got the rematch immediately because he knew Duran would get far out of shape.
Later, if you would say that, hey, you know.
Maybe. But
he really never showed he could do that any point in that fight.
Ray didn't say that, Jerry, at the time. I don't think he put that out on Front Street at the time, but Ray did come back and say that later. Like, as I said, strategy. Look at this dude. He going to party it up, eating all that steaks and all that. When, Duran was poor as hell until he won that fight. And then the newfound fame and wealth, he let it get to his head. Welcome to the building too, Jerry. Welcome to the building, Yogi. Dr. Yogi. What's poppin', Queen? Jerry said boxing is a weight cutting sport. Weight cutting affects performance. Okay, Jerry. Yeah, but if you chose it, Yogi, Yogi can speak on this. In the Navy, we had to do height, weight all the time. Remember when we was at C school, Yogi, and they was all of a sudden. The guys, like if we were guys in that classroom, I don't think they would have brought up no damn PT test because we in school, But of course, us three girls, they had to make a big to do, and we all went over there and did our height, weight, and we passed. And then they left us alone. Remember that, Yogi? She said, "Hey, Miss T, stopping by to show some love. What's popping, Queen?" So we had to go through it. Me and Yogi, we had to go through it. And you know what? It be cutting it close. You be trying your ass. We both know how it is to meet a deadline when you got to cut your weight or get in shape for your test. We both know that. She and I both know that. We had to go through it for 20 years in the military. Jerry Tasker said Leonard was forced to fight much the same way Sean Porter, a style force. Style forces opponents to fight. And Tay said he was not forced to fight. You dumbest. He choose to fight. Bro, go watch film study. You ignorant. Oh, come on now. Keyboard tough guy.
I wish I could. I have someone Patreon who broke this stuff down. Who knows more about boxing than me? I want to send this guy. That's on a Patreon now. I want to get. Maybe I'll send it to you, Miss T. You can send it to him. But I just want to show you what this guy's talking about and how she just did not cut off the ring. He just
Jerry, I don't think he's saying that. I think y'all both agreeing that
he didn't know how to cut off the ring.
Cutting off the ring is 101. What Tay is saying is that
that's why I'm so down on him, because he should have known how to do that. And not every. I mean, we've seen multiple fighters not be able to cut off the ring. So to say that it's just as easy as to say that everybody has the skill is just not. It's just simply not true. Like, come on, Miss T. Have you not seen guys not be able to cut off the ring? I mean,
well, Boost did it, and he's supposed to be an elite, right?
Yeah, but
Boost did it not that long ago. So
yeah,
it can happen. Don't call yourself elite when you make rookie mistakes. It ain't even like he did it for one round. He did it the whole fight. Boost.
That's the same thing with Duran. He couldn't do it once.
It's like crazy. Yeah, so
if he would have showed me that he could do it once, I'd have been like, okay, sure. Maybe he was just weight drained. But for him, from round 1 to round 9, or round 8, to not once cut off the ring effectively, that's my issue. He didn't do it once. He didn't show me one time that he could do this. Are you in the first round? He didn't show me he can do this. When you're supposed to be the most healthiest, the most stamina, you couldn't show me in one instance. Even in round 1, you couldn't cut off the ring. Is ridiculous to me.
Well, hold on, Tay, hold on. I want to get Yogi in this. I know she don't watch boxing like we do, but Yogi, Dr. Yogi, answer me this if you can. If a person is contracted to do something and they wait to the last minute and therefore their performance is off, can we use that as an excuse? Yes or no? We talking boxing. I'll just fill it in. You know, Earl Spence was contracted to make the weight of 147. By his own acclaims and his fans, he knew he was going to fight Terrence from day one, from the first day of the year. The fight didn't happen to July. Earl Spence had to fight somebody by June or July because he had 4 people at his heels. He had to pick somebody. And you fight at the welterweight division, which is 147 pounds. If you know that you got to have a fight coming up and you know what division you fight in, can you then turn around and use it as an excuse? Like, oh, he didn't do well because he was weight drained. Or is that pretty much like a lack of preparedness? All his fault. And Yogi, you can answer that, even if you don't look at boxing that much. So some of these excuses Dr. Yogi will find real funny out here in these YouTube streets. You know, I heard people like Manager Marty. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Very rarely do you hear me call somebody's name, but I have to in this case because he's offering up. He's alluding to and making innuendos about Terrence Crawford possibly cheating because he took snack. So basically, even though the man who did illegal shit with PEDs for the Olympians, not in boxing, for Olympians, but went to jail, paid his debt to society, came back out, developed a product and services that he is allowed to offer to boxers. Manager Marty only has a problem with it when it concerns Terrence Crawford. Only with Terrence. Now, either you feel like Victor Conte's talking about his program, Snack. Either you think that that's a terrible program or it's giving fighters an unfair advantage or it's cheating or whatever. If you feel that way, you should feel that way for all fighters, not just Terrence. But he only care about Terrence. And Terrence is not the only one to use it. Caleb Plant, was the undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney. They all use Snack. A lot of your favorite fighters use Snack. It's only a problem when Bud do it. I seen somebody put up something about the gloves. Because you know how Bud opens his hands kind of when he's parrying or when he's catching and shooting. Now that's the problem. He's been doing it all his career. It can't just be what Bud said it was. I'm a better fighter than you. And again, I was trying to stick to Charlo. Charlo gonna go up in weight. And the only reason I give it to Canelo, not that Charlo can't give it as good as Canelo can, because I think he's on par with Canelo. Plus, I just think Charlo is that good. But Charlo has never fought at 168 before. And because he's never fought at that, I'm not saying he don't walk around in life at that weight, but he has never fought at that weight. And therefore, it might be a problem for him. And then if he's up there and Canelo hurts him real bad, like Triple G did Kell Brook, then he tried to come down and fight Bud at 154. Now, you heard Bud. Bud said he kind of grew out the weight. So he's moving up to 154. Y'all gonna say he's light in the ass, but 154, what is that like? That's 7 pounds more than 147. That's nothing. When they weigh in at 147, they in there fighting at weights over 154. Then when they hydrate back up. So him going to 154, that jump is nothing. But the jump from 154 to 168 is something. It don't matter even if he picked the lowest weight he could come in at, which I think is 164 or 163. Even if he picks one of those weights to come in at, you still throwing yourself off balance. And that's something to be concerned. I can't tell you how the fight is really going to go. Jerry said Boots also knows how to cut off the ring, basic fundamental that he has done in every fight except one. But Jared, you can't really sometimes once is all it takes. you gotta wonder if you know, then why you do it. Why did you do it wrong? You have to wonder. Not an excuse, just a reality in a weight cutting sport. Earl style may not have worked regardless against Bud. We tried to tell y'all that. Y'all shot us down. Y'all didn't believe us. We tried to tell you, Jared. Charlo's going to do much better than most, I guess you might think. Canelo is small at 168 and Jamel is not small at 154. I don't know. We'll have to see, Jared. That's the only problem that I see is him fighting at a weight that he's never fought at before and then bouncing around in weight. That's the only thing I see, Jared. I ain't saying he ain't got to fight his chance because I think he can give it to Canelo just as much as Canelo can give it to him. They not difference in age. They about the same age, all of them. Canelo is a drinker, though. If Charlo don't drink, then I'm going to give the edge to Charlo. Because Canelo drinks a lot of liquor. He likes to get sauced up. Y'all know how I feel about that shit. You might as well put 5 years on his life. Dr. Yogi said people will always use excuses for why they don't succeed. But if he would have won, he would have said it worked in his advantage. Exactly. Y'all see Dr. Yogi's perspective, and she's not a boxing head. It's simple common sense. He weight drained. Yogi, would you believe that a week before that fight, a whole week, like you might as well say 2 weeks, because you got the week of the fight and the week before the fight. The week before the fight, before fight week, they had a media workout. I stated right there the boy was drained. He was cutting weight, Yogi, even up in the last couple of days before the fight. That's pushing it. The week of the fight, most fighters are relaxed. They not doing nothing arduous as far as workout. They don't spar. They don't do none of that shit. They letting their body get a recovery time to get ready for the big night. Correct? So why is he still trying to cut weight? 3-4 days, sometimes 2 days. Well, he was still cutting weight that Wednesday before the weigh-in, which was Friday. But even if you take your body through that, where it would show up is at the end of the fight. So like you might could get through the first 6 rounds, but after that 6th round, depending on who you are, you're going to fall off. You're going to be tired and everything. That's what weight training does to you. It'll catch up with you in them 12 rounds. But them first 6, you on fleek. You yourself. You know what I'm saying? And for Charlo, you'll say, okay, that'd be good because he's going up in weight. That means he don't have to cut as much weight. The problem is he has never fought at that weight. And that might be a problem. But if you're a fan of Charlo's like you're a fan of Spence, that common sense went in one ear and out the other. Jared said, and should have a speed advantage over aging Canelo. Canelo and Charlo, they the same age, Jared. They about the same age. I don't see how, that's one thing. I'm not fussing at you, Jared, but I never understood how people say, people like use the age factor when somebody is 1 or 2 years older than you or younger. I mean, At that close range in age, that shit don't matter. Y'all pretty much the same age. That only matters in grade school, what's expected of you mentally, but physically, no. You got people that could be in the 5th grade bigger than some 8th graders. It is what it is. Jerry said, tried to tell me I barely picked Spence. In fact, I said several times I thought Bud could win, no problem. I did think it would be competitive, though. Jerry, you forget yourself. You forget yourself. Because you was always antagonistic to anything. Well, maybe you just antagonistic to whatever I said, but it seemed like you was a Spence head over here. You had Spence winning, and you said it several times. So don't come back now and say that you had Bud winning, because I don't remember that. And I bet you anybody who was through here when you was here would say, we got Bo, we got a lot of people. You definitely called Spence. So yes, I did try to tell you. Dr. Yogi said, right. Jerry said, lots of fighters cut weight up until the day of the fight. I ain't say they don't. But Jerry, I think me and Dr. Yogi will say that that's not smart. That's not how it should be. You ever seen how concerned fighters look when I guess you meant they get on the scale? Yeah, Jerry. When you don't prepare, you don't prepare. You should have seen my face. Yogi probably said you should have seen her face when we had to do our height weights. Even though we was trying to prepare, that shit is hard. That shit ain't easy. Anybody who's had to cut weight to get ready for some kind of physical test will tell you it's not easy. And it's like, especially for me, when I had my issues with my thyroid gland and shit, they didn't give me no pass. Not that much. I mean, sometimes they would write a chip for me, but they expected me to be the same measurements and shit like all the other women. And that shit was just extra hard. So even when I'm going, I ain't say never. Okay. Quite a few times I went to the scale on height weight, and it's like that time me and Yogi was at C school. We was like, what the fuck? Because they usually don't be pressed for you about your test. They wasn't pressed for none of the men. I remember that. They was just pressed for us girls. And one had a 2-year-old, so she had not too long ago had a child. I just came out of having my thyroid cancer thing, and Yogi had 2 children. So of course you're not gonna be like you were before you started having children, or for me, before I had thyroid cancer. But they was not concerned with none of the dudes, only the females. And we wound up passing with flying colors, but we was nervous. You should have seen our face, Jerry. He said Canelo has 2 times as many fights, 60 plus. Don't tell me you don't know the difference. What you mean don't know the difference, Jerry? I'm confused. I got Canelo winning this fight. What you mean? He said, yeah, I picked Spence. What are you talking about? What did you just tell me? Yeah, you see what you just said, Jerry? Yeah, I picked Spence. What are you talking about? Never walk that back. I thought it would be as competitive as the Vegas odd maker. Now let's read what you said a few clicks ago. Tried to tell me I barely picked Spence. Can you square that, Jerry? Dr. Yogi, you see what the delusion we be working with? In fact, I said several times I thought Bud could win. No problem. I did think it would be competitive, though, as their most. That part you saying the same. But then you just said, I barely picked Spence. And then in here, you said, yeah, I picked Spence. Jerry, you confusing people. You said, Dr. Yogi said, we weighed in, but we waited a couple of days before we tested to regain our energy. Exactly. And that's the one thing we had going for us, Dr. Yogi. We we could take our weigh-ins anytime. Because when the tests open up, it could be a whole month that you testing. That means you just had to, I forgot the rules, something like you had to do your height, weight at least 3 days before the test, something like that. I can't remember the particulars, but it was a time thing as long as you did it. But you can take your height, weight at the beginning of the month and wait till the end of the month to take your test. It depends, but the point like she making is we had time to recuperate, rehydrate, and everything. You could have felt like, you take your test in April, your test coming back up in October. Of course, the rest of the month, April and May, you probably fucking off, having a good time, barbecuing, eating pork ribs, eating everything in sight. And then somewhere in July or something, you like, all right, let me buckle down. Get these, look, I done put on 10 pounds since we had this last test. Let me get these 10 pounds off. But you're not really dieting. You just, kind of casually doing. The closer you get to October, you're more vigorously, working out and trying to really cut the weight, whatever. And so, like I said, we have time. I can go in and do a height, weight measurement Friday. My test might not be for 2 Fridays after that. Then that 10 pounds that I lost to make it, guess what? I could gain that plus 5 pounds. By the time the test come, take the test and I pass. But in boxing, you can't do that. It used to be that you had to do your height, weight, your measurements on the day of the fight. Now they being nice. They do it a whole day before. And then people hydrate. You wonder how they come in at 147 like Canelo did against Floyd. But then, Floyd pretty much stayed at the same weight when he fight. He didn't hydrate up no big time, amount of weight. But Canelo did. Canelo was 20-some pounds more than Floyd the night of the fight. Jerry said, yeah, I picked Spence. That's what we said, Jerry. Yeah, I see. I had to show you just now how you confuse us. I'm not mad at you, Jerry. I'm trying not to be fussing at you and shit. Because Tay already got on you. Adam Hurley is in the building. Was popping King said Jake Paul has 2 more fights before he calls out the cruiserweight champion KSI and Tommy Fury. I didn't even look at that fight. When it's real boxing going on, and sorry, Jake Paul, but you almost there. You like 90% there, as me saying like you're all the way real boxer. But who am I? I'm just playing no TT. But you keep fighting these MMA people, and you're not doing the boxing all the way like real boxers do. So that's why I say that, Jake Paul. Pick a weight class, stay in it. Get in the ranking system and go from there. And once you do that, then I'll be like, okay, he on team boxing. Okay. But right now, you having fun, and that's good. And I wish you all the success. I ain't no hater. He doing what he can. Like, we should all be so lucky. Floyd Mayweather talking about all this damn money he making for exhibitions. That's just crazy. He said, T, I know who I picked, saying I'd not pick Spence. He said, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Not pick Spence big. I thought it was 50-50 fight. Never seen Errol look so bad. Never seen Bud look so good. All right, Jared, but all I was saying, Jared, was the whole time leading up to the fight, even when we didn't even know we was going to have a fight. I took you as a Spence fan because that's how you came off. You always seemed like you had Spence. And the problem with what I was saying, Jared, maybe not you. I never called you I hope I didn't. I didn't call you an Earl-sexual. If I did, it could have been we was going back and forth. But honestly, Jerry, I never looked at you as an Earl-sexual. But sometimes you can get beside yourself I looked at you as more of an antagonist. So if I say red, you gonna say blue, and that's how we gel together or whatever. But if you look at what was going on leading up to the fight, when it comes to Spence fans, there's no other way to describe them but to say they're delusional. And Charlo is delusional as well. That's why I'm talking about Charlo. You still have to talk about Spence because they go hand in hand. There's some flaws in his fighting that you see in Spence, and some flaws Spence got that you see in Charlo. So what's the common denominator? They got the same trainer. That's only common sense for me to map it out that way. They both work under the same trainer. So they both learning what that trainer thinks is the best way to approach a boxing match. And oddly enough, they got some of the same flaws. They're fighters. And I think that's in their character, that's how they want to be. But what happened, Jerry, was a lot of these Spence fans or Spence sexuals, because of the narrative being told so much that it became the truth. Because you have people that just jumping on the boxing, and the narrative was still Spence and Charlos and all of them narrative that reigned supreme, that Bud ain't fought nobody. And because he didn't fight nobody, it makes it hard for them to see that Bud even had a chance to win. See what I'm saying, Jerry? I'm not saying you, Jerry, but I'm saying those Spence sexuals out there. They couldn't fathom Bud winning, not even for a slight chance. So when they seen him lose, it's snack now's the problem. So Victor Conte is putting contaminated shit out there in the boxes with snack. Well, then I guess that's true of Devin, and I guess that's true of Caleb. Some of the same people that hate Bud, they love Devin. So Devin cheating, I guess. If you're gonna believe that it's Victor Conte and everything. If you move past that, I seen somebody talking about the gloves. If Bud gloves were contaminated or messed up or loaded, Jared, what's his name? Derek James tried to sneak check Bud gloves. Why would Derek James do Bud a solid and not embarrass him on the world stage and say something was wrong with your shit? There was nothing wrong with his shit. Plus, somebody from Spence's team was watching as Bud got his hands wrapped and probably tested the gloves and everything. As far as I hear people talk about the VADA thing. Now, when they talk about the VADA thing, which is weird because it's not Miss T who came up with VADA clean boxing program. That was Mauricio Suleiman. And he said the first 15 from the person with the belt to the person that's ranked number 1, all the way to the person that's ranked number 15 can be subject to the VADA testing when they in the fight, especially if it's shrouded around the WBC and like the rankings and this, that, and the other. So the only thing you've ever heard me say, I be trying to be clear with what I say. The only thing you ever heard me say was Earl Spence didn't make the list. And I showed y'all way before I said that, way before I talked about Earl Spence, period. Because we did a show that was strictly on the clean boxing program and the flaws that we potentially see in it. So I just told you, if you rank number 1 through 15 and or have the belt, the WBC belt, you are automatically supposed to be engaging with VADA testing. But the way they do it is when you sign the contract and the fight is a done deal, like it's going down, you are now open to VADA. When you don't have no contract, you're not enrolled in VADA. You have to enroll, and you're unrolled when your fight is over. Then you re-enroll when you get another fight. And then when that fight is over, you unroll, if that's a word. That's not a word. But you know what I mean. It's not 24/7. It's not the Donito Donaire's version of VADA. He does his shit 24/7. It's not like that. When you get a contract and the contract signed, sealed, and delivered, and whoever announces what or whatever, you are now subject to VADA testing at that point. The only way, and when you're subject to VADA testing, there's nothing you can do about it. They come when they come. Now, if you complied with the VADA testing, your name goes on a list that's put out monthly or bi-monthly or every other month or whatever, but it's put out, supposed to be. Now, the only way you don't make that list is if you A, did not comply, or B, pop positive. If you pop positive on one of them tests, then Mauricio is notified, your promoter is notified, your team, to include your trainer, whoever, they're notified, and you are notified. The public is not notified. So now that you know the basics of the clean boxing program, if you don't make the list, that means something, especially when you're required, when you don't have no say, you can't wiggle out of it. You are required to be engaged in the clean boxing program. The only thing you heard, see, I don't make accusations, innuendos like some of these YouTube content creators or people, Spence fans, like Manager Marty, he has a show. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him, but he makes innuendos and he alludes to things. I told you the facts. Y'all know all last year I was looking for Earl's name to come up on the VADA testing. I saw his opponent's name. I saw Tyson Fury, of all people, and Dillian White. I saw Tank. I saw all these people's name on the list, except the belt holder himself. Now, Ugas didn't have a WBC, so he's not beholden to WBC rules, but he was fighting Earl Spence, and that belt was on the line, so that made him beholden. Earl Spence has the belt himself. He wasn't on the list, and I complained about it, and I said something about it, but it didn't move no needle. I'm just T, and nobody cared. So come this year, I have not talked about it that much. I put my warning shots out last year to Bud, like, look, you need to find out why he ain't doing the VADA test. Now, why Manager Marty want to talk about snack and other people want to talk about snack like it's a bad thing, guess what? Victor Conte also said, I'll pay for your VADA testing anytime you want. Matter of fact, I'll pay for your opponent's VADA testing. So he ain't got to worry about coming out of his pocket or nothing. If that's not reassurance, I don't know what is. So if the man is doing something funky or crazy, he will be found out. Don't think without his past that they didn't vet him. So to allude or throw innuendos like something ain't on the up and up, to talk about loaded gloves when y'all pretty much laughed Deontay Wilder, not laughed, y'all were talking about it when it came to Wilder, when he said it too. But there were people who laughed at it. Wilder even going there and complaining about loaded gloves. You've seen Terrence Crawford knocked out. And repeat this, Yogi. Terrence Crawford has knocked out the last 11 fighters that he's been fighting, to include Earl Spence. If you go all the way back 11 fights, you're in a whole nother weight division with him. So he only been in the weight division 5 years. So the last 11 opponents, he has knocked out. Okay. So they feel that he's nothing, or the opponents he fights are nothing. But the last 11 fighters that Errol Spence fought, he only knocked out one. That was last year. And before that, it was 2018. But he called himself man down. All his fans were saying he's an eye collector because he broke an orbital bone on one of his opponents twice. One whose orbital bone already was kind of broke, so he just damaged it more. The other one was he legitimately hurt the dude's face and broke his bone. But he turned around and get his retina torn or detached in sparring. But he was known as the eye collector as far as his fans went. He was gonna collect Terrence's eyes. He was gonna break his bones. They left no wiggle room for Terrence Crawford to be victorious. Yogi, Showtime just showed this fight this past weekend for free. It will come on again throughout the rest of this month. You should catch it, but if you didn't catch it, you still can because it's on Showtime. But it was pay-per-view the week before. When I tell you everything that they projected on Terrence Crawford, Terrence wound up doing to them. Errol Spence said it was going to be a one-sided ass whooping. It was, but it was him getting his ass whooped, one-sided. Terrence whooped his ass. You know, they said a lot of shit. You know, he's the eye collector. He's this. Errol Spence came out with 2 swollen eyes and a busted lip and nose. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Sorry. But the reason why it's so interesting to talk about is because they be in delusion. And they say delusional stuff. And Jerry, I'm going to pick on you for a minute. When Jerry just, that contradictory he just had in a couple of his texts that I showed. I was like, Jerry, you know, you was for Team Spence. Nah, well, I won't barely. But, you know, I was like, huh, you confusing me. When I just had to show Jerry what he actually texts. But they say stuff like, dude wasn't the same. I said he was weight drained 2 weeks before the fight. His fans shot me down. I don't know what I'm talking about. T, you don't know shit about boxing. He ain't weight drained. He look good. If anybody weight drained is Bud Crawford. Okay, fine. I tried to tell y'all. He said, Jerry said, yeah, I picked Spence. Shit. Okay. T, I know I picked. Okay, hold on. What would you rather see, Bud versus Charlo or Bud versus Boots? It don't matter, whatever Bud want. At this point, Bud is about to be 36 years old. It's whatever he want. See, everybody think it's Boots, and that's another thing. I'm going to talk slow so y'all can hear me in the back. Boots was ranked in the top 3 of the WBO sanctioning body. Bud only had, at that time, the WBO sanctioning body. It's only been, 9-10 days that now he has all the belts. But back then, he only had 1. So, if Boots wanted to fight him, all he had to do is activate his mandatory. But he got out of line. Yogi PK, you in line for something, right? And you right there at the front of the line. And you get out of line to go get in another line that you could be in front of. And some kind of way, it's the people fault that had the line going. Like if you let me how I say it. You in line to get some kind of service. So, let's say you at the fair, you in line to get a funnel cake. You get out of line to go get a hot dog, right? You was never in that line at first, but you go to get when you in the line, but you not as close to the top of the line like you are with the funnel cake. Now, some kind of way, the people who have the line that's making the funnel cake, those people, some kind of way is their fault. It's their fault that you got out of line. They won't try to serve you, or you took yourself out of place. That's pretty much what happened, Yogi. Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford both were champions before they met up. Bud having one belt, what's the name, having two. Bud had Boost Ennis, this guy that they like to throw in front of Bud. Boost Ennis was in line. He was number 2 to fight Bud. That's all he had to do is activate the mandatory. Sean Porter would not have gotten that fight if Boost would have activated his mandatory. Boost gets out of line to go get in line to fight Spence. And he didn't ask one time or 2 times. He asked 3 times. 3, for those of you who don't know Trey. 3 times to fight Errol Spence. And they granted him that. So, who ducking who? I don't even want to call it a duck. But all these people that's trying to throw Boost up in Bud's face, y'all got to think about that. Boost didn't want that shit. If he wanted it, all he had to do is activate it. It worked when Sean Porter did it, and Sean Porter was behind him in line. And then the second time he had a chance to fight Bud, when Bud went with BLK, you know that the only successful fight card that they had on BLK was Bud because of all that monkey wrench they was throwing in for Adrian Broner. That's another story. But Bud fights for a BLK. They asked him before they asked David Avanesian, or Avocado as they like to say. But what did he do? He said, go talk to Showtime. Steven Espinosa is not going to try to do business with BLK. You already know that. But here's the funny part. You don't have no obligations to Showtime or PBC. You doing that out of loyalty on yourself. But there's no contractual obligation that you have to one of those entities. So BLK didn't have to go ask them shit. They asking you. But they did go ask. And you know, if Al Heyman said ain't nobody gonna touch this fight but him. So what you think? Like Boost and Earl are hot commodities to Al. But there's no contract. And what happened? The fight didn't happen. So when everybody's trying to they need to be careful about trying to throw Boots in Bud's pathway. But Bud ain't scared of him. Just because your boy Earl couldn't get the job done, that don't mean you come up with Boots. You know what I'm saying, Tay?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You kind of labeled that aerospace sexual for anyone who did not pick Spence. So okay.
He said,
I mean, Boots had,
to be fair, anyone who did not pick Spence.
Fight.
He said, to be fair, anyone who did not pick Spence, you kind of labeled a aerosexual. I get it. There was a lot of talk. They labeled themselves. Aerosexual were the fans that were delusional. You can say budsexuals too. The fans that was not delusional. For me to stand up here and tell any of you that it was 100% guaranteed that Bud was going to win that fight, I couldn't do that. But most Earl fans really thought that was the case for him. And that's why they discombobulated today. He said noon. I guess you meant noon. None. I know you typing fast, Jerry. None was delusional to pick Spence. Even Vegas had Bud slight favor.
Going off Vegas odds isn't like the best. I thought. I mean, look at the odds for Tank versus Cruz. Super lopsided, and that fight was pretty. It was fairly. It wasn't. I mean, it was 8-4, so it was like not as lopsided as people like to make it seem. As Vegas odds had it.
Champion is in the building. What's Papa King? And our money is in the building. Hey Tay, do you see his icon?
Huh?
I love your icon. I don't know where you got it from, but I love it. It's a boxing glove like person type thing. He said, "Laugh my ass off." Canelo ducks the ashtray. Get the fuck out of here. He said, "Get the fuck out with your casual ass."
Why didn't he become undisputed at 160 like he said he was going to do, Champy?
Well, who was he saying? Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not gonna get into it. I don't really care that Andrew didn't.
I know, right? This is a low key day. Al Money said, "Hey, Miss T, what's up, Al Money?" Champy said the same ashtray that gets dropped by bums every fight. Champy,
he got dropped one.
Yeah. See, this is a Champy. I'm confused. You see what I'm saying, Jared? I'm confused. I tell you, am I confused? You confused?
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. If he said ashtray, so I'm assuming he mean Andre.
Yeah, he's making fun of him.
Andre get dropped?
He got dropped once. I remember he got dropped once.
He said by bums every fight.
But he did not get dropped fight.
Jared said Vegas is right 85% of the time. Chappie said, "Cuz ashtray priced himself." And you know this, how you prove this, Chappie? I don't know how you know he priced himself out. That's what they said.
Only thing I heard was that there was $40 million on the table offered, and Canelo said no.
I mean, that's what they. But
I could be wrong. It's been a while since
Listen. Andre was making money over there with the zone while y'all sleeping on him. He was making a lot of money. He was making more money than Earl Spence and the Charlos.
He was making
a bigger check. Yeah, he was making good ass money.
I wouldn't say more than Errol Spence, but he was making good. He was making
he was. Errol Spence was making 1.5 or 2 million at best for a fight. Andre was making more than that.
I think he was.
Just didn't hear about him. He was making money like Bud was making. Just didn't hear about it because his fights were not. A lot of people didn't have the zone. He was over there during the time frame when the zone tried to come over here and make a big splash, and they didn't. Yeah, and they fell off.
Riders or big contracts.
Yeah, they fell off, and they went back.
Devin Haney was getting like $3 million a fight.
Exactly. Devin Haney was getting more than Spence. What y'all talking about?
Guarantee purses, yeah.
Yeah. None of us can intelligently speak about the back end money, so I can say that. How was it 8-4 when Ryan got knocked out in the 7th?
I'm talking about Cruz.
I didn't know what he was talking about.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yes, he got
dropped. Yes, he did. He did get dropped.
Desmond Nicholson dropped his ass. Now that's not every fighter though. That's what you said.
Canelo got rocked by Cotto's freaking cousin. Cotto's brother. I'm sorry.
But look, this is what you said. Gets dropped by bums every fight.
That was so long ago too.
And now you're being specific. But he is undefeated, correct?
And he doesn't get dropped every fight.
Isn't Andre? He's undefeated. So now you're more specific. You saying one person.
What's his name got dropped? Better Beef got dropped by a known body that nobody knows about.
He says, "Excuse me, dead man Nicholson."
Oh my god.
He said, "How you gonna offer 40 million of Canelo's own money?"
What is he talking about?
I'm confused. I don't know what you're talking
Do you
about,
think
champion. You
Canelo
don't
puts
know what
up
you're
money for
talking
fights?
about.
Put up no money for fights. That's all the own.
Canelo get paid just like everybody else.
Yeah, he
Mark
not no
Nash
boss.
is in the building. What's popping? King said, "Peace and blessings." What's good with you, Mark? We was just talking about the Charlo going up to fight Canelo and everything. But
I hope they
Charlo
gonna lose. He gonna lose.
Charlo, he better not go up there emotional. And it
What
remains to be seen. It remains to be seen if he can fight at that weight. We don't know. He don't even know. He never done it. That might actually be an issue for him. That's realistically to say. What you were saying, Tay? I mean,
I agree. What if he looks up there? What if he goes up there and he looks slow? I mean, it's too many variables.
Yeah.
And I don't even
what
think
if his power don't carry?
He might even be a better boxer than Canelo, and he's going up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's bigger than him. I don't care that Canelo is, 5 whatever. He's bigger than him. He's stockier. He weighs more.
Mark Nash said just woke up from a nap, about to the baby in the bath in bed. I hear that. Enjoying the show. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, Canelo, he famous for hitting your arms. Does Jermell Charlo, do you have a contingency plan for that? That's what you wonder. Now look, champion, I want to root for Jermell. I want him to win.
Me too.
The reason why I don't enter him because he fights Canelo being Canelo.
Oh my God.
What you say if he beats Canelo and then
Bud beats him, that would be such a great thing for boxing. I think Canelo should be done with the sport. I'm kind of done with Canelo. I mean, I just don't take him that seriously. I mean, he's still a great fighter, but I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan of Canelo.
Jabby said, at Boxing Fans Talk TV, I'm just playing. Shout out to your channel. Thanks for the content. Yeah. Shout out. We not mad neither, but we gonna challenge it because you know what I don't think should ever happen again. I don't think that this controversy that we had between Earl and Bud should ever get to this level when it comes to fighters. When you get to the point where, the hardest thing to do is to talk to somebody who's delusional or who straight out lies. Like I have to call, and y'all never hear me call anybody out. But I have to call Manager Marty out, respectfully. He
call out who?
Manager Marty.
Who is that?
Manager Marty. Manager Marty. I barely know him. I just stumbled onto him maybe this year. And not to say he ain't been out longer than that, but he touts his critics as being involved with boxing. He sound like he tried to say that he's been invested in boxing for 20 years, a couple of decades, but he lies. I mean, straight up lie. Like in a bad way. And I was like, what? I respect everybody in their opinion. Your opinion can be different from mine, but we can't have different facts.
He's like a manager or something. I never heard of him before.
He claims he's a manager, or he's been in boxing or amateur boxing, or he claims he's been in positional authority, some positional authority in boxing. I really don't know. The
what does he lie
on the
about
street
again?
is,
what does he lie about? Like, what does he say?
Well, right now he's trying. What he does is he give innuendos and he alludes to things. He'll ask loaded questions. He try to guide you to the answer he wants you to say. And then he's right now he's talking about the snack program. He wants to thoroughly investigate that. Yeah, a lot of
that's so funny.
Want to do that.
Devin
like,
ain't
that's
got power
crazy to
like
me.
that. Yeah, everybody else on PEDs. That's crazy. Andre's a bum who doesn't fight nobody. He's sloppy. Devin has no power.
Yeah. He got cut off, I guess, with the power. But a lot of people, like he was saying, you do this against people you don't like. Now, the word on the street that I heard, now this is what I heard. I'm not saying this is true. I put you in there, dog. I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying this is what I heard. That he tried to get on board the Bud train and work with them fellas over there, but they probably saw him for what he was and rejected his ass. Probably. And ever since then, he been upset. God damn, though, you bringing up some whoppers because you want to get into the. So when did Bud join? He asked these kind of crazy questions. When did Bud join Snack? And da 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 da. But hold on, Caleb and Devin was on that shit too.
Yeah, they don't. And nobody says that they're punchers. Like,
well, Victor Conte. Well, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to make fun of this guy, but he did, get in trouble. He's went to jail for cheating. Yeah, he wasn't a part of boxing program back then. He went to jail. He served his time. He came back out. He got a product together or provides a product or services to boxing. You think they didn't vet this man, this ex-felon? Yes, they vetted him. You know what I'm saying? But if Bud is a cheater, then Devin Haney's a cheater.
Yeah, Devin Haney's a cheater.
Then Caleb Plants.
To me, if Devin Haney's cheating, then he needs to cheat better somehow because he's on that money. He can't punch like that. And Caleb Plant.
It's called being a sore loser.
Isn't Shakur on Snack too?
He might be. A lot of people on Snack. But his assertions. So but you know what? This is why I say he alludes to it, or he drop innuendos. He don't come right out and say it, because he know that they can get him for slander. And guess what? If you are, and this is what he claimed, he's a part of boxing, like he's an important guy in boxing. Well, you don't have to be the fighter themselves. You don't have to be like invested personally into it. You can take Victor Conte to court. If you're a part of the boxing program in any kind of way, you can take him to court and tell how he's, doing some terrible things. I just told y'all, Victor Conte also will pay for your VADA testing if you taking his stuff, and he will pay for your opponent's VADA testing. If that's not reassurance, I don't know what is.
It's not.
But who am I? Then let me play this thing for y'all, right? Let me make sure I put it in here. This is not my content. I just found this out, or I just heard about this, and I don't own the rights to this program. It's for educational purposes only. And let me see. Let me find it. Damn. Oh, right here. So, I don't know why I'm up twice, but okay. Look at this.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go all the way back. You can't hear nothing. Tell you, is it you or is that everybody?
I don't know.
Is your thing working? Well, basically, listen for it. You got Crawford in his truck. You're a country boy. Backing out. And he, Crawford has always said, my father was a boxer, but he wrestled more so. And my uncles and my granddaddy, the men in his line and his lineage, or maybe on the other side, on his mama's side as well, they were boxers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Crawford said. Listen carefully. This is Crawford in the truck, backing out.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Hopefully they can hear it though.
So if you didn't hear it, I'm not sure why you don't hear it, Tay. I got it pulled up. Maybe okay. I'm gonna play it one more time. This time I'm turn off the music. All right. So hold on. But basically, this older man at the end was saying, "That's my great uncle." That is Terrence Crawford's father. His biological father. That's his father.
Isn't Terrence Crawford's father Terrence Crawford?
Hold on. Listen.
I think he a junior, but I don't know why they don't call him Terrence Crawford Jr. That's weird.
You see what I'm saying? And shout out to Showbiz. I think that's his name for putting that out. But you can go on Showbiz and look at that too. But basically, you hear Crawford in a humbling way talk about how his family members are boxers and all that. You never hear them drop no name till now, right? But that's his father telling somebody that his great uncle is Joe Louis. So that means that's Terrence's great uncle. 3 times. That's his uncle. So Joe Louis, the Bronze Bomber, is some kin to you. And y'all know what Joe Louis did and how he got there. But that's the stock you come from. I found that amazing. I was like, wow. But you can't say that Terrence got any of his props from who he's some kin to or the lineage he came from. He got it out the mud. He is the shit now. And I'm just now hearing that he is some kin to Joe Louis. I'm just hearing that. But Terrence did all that shit and none of us even knew. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was very interesting. What I was, oh God, side just started hurting. But what I was saying about Manager Marty, respectfully, if you got, it's hard to sit through his show because he just starts lying, and I just be like, sore losing, poor thing. And some people, they are sore losers. I know a sore loser. I used to be one. I had to learn my lesson. I used to actually cry when I lost and stuff. I mean, just sore loser. It was pitiful. And some of these Earl fans, they sore loser. But again, it's because y'all narratives and those lies became the truth. That's why sometimes when you hear them, you have to stamp them out. It's one thing to talk about him and say he ain't fought nobody or they bums or whatever. It's another thing to say a man is cheating.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. You're basically discrediting everything he's done just to uplift your dude up, or because you can't handle the fact that your dude was not better than him. And I just think that's just wrong on so many levels where I have to call your name out and all that, because you don't hear the Spence channels like talking about it, saying that shit. I haven't heard it. In fact, I heard a lot of Spence channels they stepped up and
I heard some channels say it.
Yeah, some. It's always gonna be some. Yeah, but most of them came up.
Not like how they used to say that Bud didn't fight nobody. It's definitely not the same. They used to all say Bud didn't fight nobody. Like
it's just funny how irony works or how God works. Everything that they said about Bud, it was really they was projecting, and now they're exposed because how this fight went. Like I said, one-sided ass whooping. It was one-sided. It was your ass whooping. You know, all the stuff. He did this, Bud did that. He go 20 his ass, 80-20 his ass. I mean, just when you think about the I call it torture for the last 5 years, it's funny. All of that stuff is really can be laid at their feet. The biggest disservice that they did to themselves is they allowed themselves to believe that Bud Crawford's opponents won't shit. They were nobodies. And I was like, what do you do when you at a fight and David Avenesian is sitting beside you, or Victor Posta is sitting beside you, and he knows that you and your team and your fans called him a nobody, that he won't shit,
and he was a tomato can.
Yeah, what do you do? I mean, I'm not saying that Earl and them would be scared, but why would you tarnish that man's thing? What did he do to you?
Yeah, to me, that made no sense. You want to uplift your opponent, so when you beat them, they'll be like, "Oh my God, you beat this great opponent."
He had it backwards. Then Errol Spence seemed like he was learning on that curve, because remember how he used to talk about Sean Porter? Your fight haven't even started with Sean Porter, and you already putting him down, saying he can't sell a ham sandwich or some shit. You know, so why should anybody go buy your fight? Because it's about who you dance
was
with.
funny. He says Sean Porter couldn't sell his own family cookout or something like that.
Yeah.
That was
why should anybody have bought his fight? I mean, you are with your dance partner. And I said this pretty much either the next day or the day of the fight or whatever. I said,
that gave him his toughest fight.
I said, whatever pay-per-view numbers that they want to claim the fame, it's both of theirs. I'm not going to sit up here and say it's really all Spence or it's really all Bud. No, I can't say that. Both Bud and Errol Spence can claim to fame to have earned the amount of pay-per-view that they've earned.
Yeah, 700,000, I think. At least 700,000.
Yeah, I think it's more than that, but you know, because they broke records with the gate alone.
Yeah, they had the top 6 highest gate of all time.
So how you have 700,000 pay-per-view? I think they ain't counted all of them.
Maybe not.
But that's what they want to say.
People also could have illegally streamed a fight, you know?
They probably did. But this fight was worldwide. If you look at
like this fight was more for like people who kind of knew boxing, but like this is a fight like all the celebrities could go to, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not like the casual fans, like super casual fans didn't know about this fight, but the celebrities know about this fight. That's what type of fight this was. Yeah,
Royal Ron Gaming, welcome to the building. What's Bobby King said, Bud is the truth. Let me tell you, my Facebook went from, let's say every meme that came, I ain't gonna say meme, but everything that came through my timeline, you have like, let's say 25 things come through my timeline, and then you'll see Bud Crawford. And the closer you got to the fight, it went from 25 things, then Bud Crawford something or Spence something. Then it got down to 15 things, and then you'll see an advertisement for Bud or Spence. And after the fight, like it just kept going down the closer you got to the fight. After the fight, every third thing in my timeline is a Bud Crawford. When I'm talking about exposure, this dude got great exposure now. Yeah. And I believe that this fight sold a lot of pay-per-view worldwide. I don't know why they saying 700. I'm not fully accepting. I'm accepting it because I don't work in that field. I don't get to count how many pay-per-views that go down. I can only take their word at it. So I'm accepting it. But in my heart of heart, I think they did way more than that.
I hope they did $1 million. I wanted them to do $1 million. They would do $1 million. To me, that's great.
I believe that they did. But I mean, again, I have to accept what they put out. If they'd have put out 200,000, I would have accepted that. But Earl and Bud together did that number. The highest Earl ever made was 350, and that became a talking point. Now we got standards in boxing in which to judge people on and judge things on that never used to be standards. Like who make the highest pay-per-view sales? Yeah. So because Spence got the highest pay-per-view sales, he's better than Bud. How does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? All his fighters were bums and tomato cans. Why? Because you said so? Because before Bud ever fought them, that's not what you said about them.
Yeah, Sean Porter was supposed to be that real test. And after Crawford beat him, he was a bum.
Yeah, everybody was shelling themselves. Sean Porter debunked that. Everybody was.
Oh my gosh, Sean Porter
nothing,
really
and this is why they're having trouble accepting the loss, because they allow themselves to really believe the hype, the press clippings that Bud's opponents were nothing. So if we're gonna say that, if we're gonna use their logic, then you have to say that Errol Spence is something. But see, I will never say that. But I'm saying by their logic, that's what they're saying, because Spence did worse than all 39 opponents of Bud. At least they put up a fight a little bit. You know, Spence tried. It's not that he didn't try. It's not like you said he didn't have a moment or two. But David Ebenezer did a better job. Victor Poster did a better job. Gamboa did a better job. Mean Machine did a better job. Everybody did a better job. But every opponent that Bud fought, he never made it look like a total wash or easy. But was yeah. So do we now? That's what I'm saying to them. Like, do we now say that Spence was a nobody? They won't hear that. They won't accept that. But that's you got to accept. I'm talking to the Earl fans right now. You have to accept the fact that you did that shit.
Yeah.
That you was lying like that, and you was throwing propaganda out there and spin and talking points. And now you got to say, why did you do it? For some hatred. Where did hate come from? Because they want. I don't even know if Spence even hated him, but he has to. I've always said he tend to feel like he have to stand on somebody else's neck to make himself look good. There are people out there like that in the world. They can't look good unless they got their foot on somebody else's neck. And you don't have to, because Spence is just that good without doing any of that. I don't know why he subscribed to it, but you see it in him. You see it in the Charlos. I mean, look at the epilogue when he was telling James Harden, I already did that shit. Fuck you talking about? When he talking about, I already did that. Dude, you had his fight. He didn't talk about what you already did. He already said when he gets Spence, he coming for you, the cheerleader, next. You said, shut up, be humble. And by the way, I used that. We should have to pay Charlo for that. That was a good little verse. Shut up, be humble.
Humble yourself.
Yeah. Get in line, be a challenger sometime. Man, I use that shit all the fucking time. I ain't gonna lie. Because it was a cute little line. But you was like that because y'all was caught up on the narrative. And you misspeak all the time, or are you doing it on purpose? Because you already know what works. Throw something out there, keep throwing stuff out there, and see if shit stick. And if it stick, then run with it. What did he just say? He's on somebody's thing. And I'm gonna chop it up to him misspeaking. He said, well, Spence won, or whatever, Spence win or something. I was like, his win. I had to listen to it several times. He actually said Spence win or Spence won. And I was like, okay, he had to misspeak. I'm gonna just chop it up as that. Royal Ron said Jerron Ennis being talked about. Yeah, because
a little bit.
They have to throw somebody. If Spence can't do it, then Jerron gonna do it. If Jerron
they just want to see him lose.
Who else gonna do it?
I remember
the Charlo fight. Oh, he's winning.
I was talking with this guy, and I was like, what more can Bud do? This is before the fight. He said, I want Bud to go up to 160. I was like, why? Because he said all-time greats have done that and they lost.
So Alvin's like, what the heck is up with this? So you don't even want to, like, it was weird to me. Like, to me, it wasn't about you being great, like you, having great skill. It was about you losing. I never understood that when he said that to me, but that's the mindset of a lot of these fans. They just want to see you lose. I don't want
That's it.
to lose so bad.
Mayweather now, Bud. If Bud is smart, and I can say if he's smart, if he's thinking and it works for him, maybe he can take lemons and make lemonades, because that's what happened with Floyd. They hated Floyd so much they wanted to see him lose. But guess what Floyd said? Their money green, just like the other people money green. Whether you hate to see, when you paying to see me lose or you paying to see me win, the money is all green, and it's all going into my coffers. And that's the attitude Bud got to take going forward. They're going to always throw people in his pathway because they don't want his legacy to be what it is. It's done. His legacy, he don't even need to do much more. He don't need to do nothing else. We were saying, and before people say, why y'all saying it now? We were saying that before he even fought Spence. He could quit today and he'd be done. But now that he done fought Spence, y'all beloved king, it is what it is. If Spence didn't get caught up in the minutia of that popularity click type shit, like, you better than you guys give for you better than everything, then I don't know, maybe he wouldn't have had nerves. Maybe he would have seen how that they were grooming him to fight certain fights that was going to be better for him instead of fighting everybody. I don't know.
He only fought guys that were high. He only fought fighters that used the high guard, were flat-footed, or were inside fighters himself. He never fought a boxer on the outside that could really move.
Yeah. And every time he fought somebody that can exchange with him or box in any kind of way, he got touched. Now, I mean, and it bothered him. Like, when I say he got touched, I don't mean he was rocked and all that shit. Because if he was, that could happen in anybody's fight. But he was touched to the point it bothered him. Like, he threw his hands up. You could tell at that moment of getting hit, he wasn't focused no more. He hit Bud flush in the chin a couple of times in that fight. And Bud never even wavered. It never even phased him. He didn't close his eyes or nothing. He just took it and kept moving forward. Roy Ron said, I was on Devin Haney, but I got my eyes on Shakur Stevens. Yeah, I think Shakur can beat everybody at 135. Devin Haney is another one that clearly has grown out of the weight class. He has to move up. What they're doing to Devin Haney, as I was telling my homeboy, he think is unfair. First of all, let me just say, I'm not a big fan of sanctioning bodies, but I'm also of the mind that you can't live with them, you can't live without them. Because I don't want to be into boxing and they don't have a conclusive thing like football do with the NFL championship game, the Super Bowl, i.e., or the NBA finals, or even the finals for hockey and everything. If you don't have something like a Super Bowl type thing in boxing, what am I watching it for? Why am I getting excited about it? Why am I paying my money to it? That's how I'm gonna see it. So he said Jerron can't do it. Probably not. I give him a chance, but yeah, his Bud experience will win out. Bud is in his prime, I believe that. Bud be Jeff Horn for Pacquiao. I've been watching Bud for a while. So in the end, y'all, I was just, to recap what we talked about. Jamel is going to fight Charlo, but I heard nobody has corrected me that they already took his belt, his WBO belt. But you know what? You know what it tells me? Yeah, don't think I'm hating, but it tells me that he didn't believe Fat Mean Greasy. He didn't take heed or learn a lesson when he broke his hand back in December. You know he was slated to fight Tim Tszyu. January 28th, but he hurt his hand in December. He showed a video and he thought that was all he had to do. But he didn't have the favor over at PBC like Earl got. Make no mistakes, PBC was more favorable to Earl. So you couldn't just show a video and that would be that. The WBO come right away, I think it was the last week of December, and said, you know what, you got to January 5th to show us proof. And I'm sure Charlo felt like, you would think I showed you proof when I showed you the video and I showed you what the doctor said, but they needed more credible, amplifying proof. Did he wind up showing the WBO that? Yes, he did, because they never said nothing else about it. He got to keep his belt. He got to, be chilling or, till he heal up properly or whatever. Once he healed, they expected him to resume his obligation of fighting Tim Tszyu. Now, Tim Tszyu, in light of this, took a fight with Tony Harris and beat him to a pulp. And so Tim Tszyu wanted to stay active. Now, here you come with this Canelo fight. Nobody can blame you, and we do understand that it's an opportunity of lifetime, because whether Canelo deserves it or not, they're going to pay him between $30 and $50 million. So whoever's fighting him, you can't pay somebody $30, $40, $50 million and then pay his opponent like $1.5 million or $2 million. Jermell Charlo is going to get probably like 10 to 15. You know what I'm saying? I would say over 10. That's a lot of money. Then when the back pay is all said and done, I mean, if you think about it, I think Caleb Plant got he got paid $11 million to fight Canelo. And when it was all said and done, he walked away with probably close to 23 or 22 million. And that was Caleb Plant. So because of stuff like that, we can look at it and say, you know what, Jermell Charlo, we don't blame you. I mean, shit, that's life-changing money right there. You know what I'm saying? You really be set for life. But you not talking to the WBO or keeping them in the know, that's what it looked like to me. Because every time you try to do something, they turn around and slap your dick in the mud. I mean, you didn't talk to them adequately enough when you broke your hand and they had to chastise you in public. Now you talk about the chance of a lifetime, to the biggest opportunity that people are clamoring for, and some people walking away. You said your brother turned it down, regardless if it's true or not. It came to your desk and you didn't turn it down. Cool. Everybody can understand that. I'm sure even Bud. But the WBO don't understand, and you got to ask why. What kind of relationship you got with the WBO where they not understanding? Because you are going to fight for undisputed. Now, the rules be saying you can go one up and one down when you got all the belts like that. You can challenge, especially WBO, is one up, one down. I haven't seen it said you can't go up 2 divisions, but it don't say you can or it don't say you can't. But the point is, you're going up 2 divisions and you fighting for undisputed. You know what that'll mean? That means you will have 8 motherfucking belts that 8 times you got to pay for damn sanctioning fees. They getting a lot of money out your ass. They should be happy, right? But the WBO is not happy. So you got to say, why aren't they happy with Jermell Charlo? I don't know, because I'm not in the inside loop. But if I'm going to use my common sense, I'm going to say that Jermell Charlo do not talk to them or communicate with them very well, or as he should, so that they can be on the same page as him or on board with him. And maybe he'd be feeling like he don't need to, but I don't know how many times they got to show him that you do. Martin King Boxing is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, "What's great, Boxing Fans Talk TV? Queen, Miss T, I like the Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavidez fight already. Oh, yes, you know I am here for that. My baby boo-boo is going up. Y'all make sure y'all buy that one and support my baby boo-boo." Boo-boo, all right now. I'm going to tell you, if I was a little bit younger. He said, shout out to the boxing heads. Ooh, y'all have no idea. Boo-boo have no idea. Don't come around me. With all due respect, I'm sure he's linked up with somebody, but I'm just saying, boo-boo, shit. I couldn't have ran into you in my young life. I'm just saying. We would have had a bunch of little boo-boos. Let me just say it like that. But yeah, that's gonna be a very interesting fight. But yeah, Charlo, like I said, somebody on the replay answer that question or hit me up in my email at boxingfanstalk@gmail.com and let me know if that shit is true. I can't find anything, but let me know, is that true that the WBL has already stripped him of his belt? If so, he is not undisputed at this moment. He's not a current undisputed champion. Now, here's the thing. It's better, if it's all about me being biased, it's better for me to want Charlo to keep his belt and stay at 154 and fight Bud. Don't do nothing to fuck that up. But Charlo can do what he wanted to. He can drop them belts. He can move up. If he sees an opportunity to make money, I'm not mad at him. And nobody should be mad at him for wanting to go fight Canelo. I'm not. Again, I don't think Canelo is all that. He ain't my daddy. He a lot of y'all daddies, but he ain't my daddy. But at the same time, he gets paid a lot, and his opponents gets good pay as well. So why Charlo's supposed to turn his back to that, I don't know. Why would anybody think he should? I don't know. But I will say, in closing, he has never fought at that weight. And for that reason and that reason only, I give the edge to Canelo. But I'll be rooting for Charlo. Now, when he come back down, if he messes himself up by going up and coming back down, then that's his own fault. That's not going to be an excuse. You can't use it as an excuse. He could come down and be great and beat the dog shit out of Bud. Then what they going to say if he wins? Or he could come back down the way and it would have like kind of fucked him up or derailed him. Again, that's on him. We don't know when you get old. Canelo could beat him so bad and make him old. Canelo could be a shot fighter right now because Bivol show beat his ass pretty good. We don't know. But if Jermell Charlo get a chance to go up there and get undisputed, I say go. You will always be catching up to Bud. That's the thing. And then that way, if you make undisputed and you come back down and you fight Bud, providing that the weight change don't hurt either one of y'all, because Bud up, he could lose his power, he could lose his stamina, he could lose his agility and reflexes. You never know. But providing they are both who they are regularly at 154, and then they get it out, that's a mega fight. That would be a mega fight. You have two undisputed champions going at it again. But if Bud wins, that would be 3 for him. If Charlo wins, he gets to keep his. And they just will go down in history as 2 undefeated champions in the same era. And that, within their same career. You said goddamn at first. Then you said Miss T on the hunt for it. That's funny. No, not quite. I've had my moment in the sun. Miss T is retired. No. But you know how you look back, you be like, well, if I was young. Not saying I'm an old ass lady, but I'm not too old for him. But but hey, Boo Boo, you're a nice looking man. You definitely are. And I don't even dig guys with dreads and all that, but him, I make an exception. Anywho, let me stop. I'm thinking too. I'm using my inner monologue voice on the outside. I need to stop that. But anywho, that's all I had today. Yeah, I did play it. For those of you who missed it, a couple of clicks back, I did play Terrence Crawford dad talking about how Joe Louis, the bronze bomber, Joe Louis, is his great uncle. Put it this way, you guys, that ain't far from the mark, because I'm a great aunt. I'm a great aunt. Or grand aunt. Let me say that, grand aunt. I'm a grand aunt. Make sure. I'm a grand aunt. And any moment I could be a great aunt at any moment. Because my nieces and nephews are well and grown. Well and grown, okay? And they old enough, they old enough to have had children that could be having children right now. So I mean, look, I'm not as old as y'all think, but I'm not young neither. You know what I'm saying? I've told y'all how old I am. I don't care. But yeah, if Joe Louis is Terrence Crawford's father, great uncle, it's in the genes, shawty. And you have only heard Terrence say, "Oh yeah, I had uncles and the granddad and basically dudes in his family who boxed." That's all he ever said. And he got some qualities like his great uncle. But they love Joe Louis for those qualities, but they don't like Terrence for them. It's amazing. The motherfucker is royalty. I knew it. But anywho, let me get out this mug. Y'all know what I'm going to say in the words of Pamela James. Peace.